Parashas Miketz, Tovshin Pei Gimel, B'Siyata D'Shmaya, second night of Chanukah. There are many Svarim that they explain the word Kislev. Kislev, Chodesh Kislev, right? So Kislev means bitochen. Ever knew that? Yasimu Kislam B'Hashem. There's a few psukim. The Avodas Yisrael, the Kosher Tzemagid brings it, and I see here the Ben Ish Chai. He brings a few times in Nach, which Kislev, Reb Tzadok HaKohen Lublin says that Kislev is Miloshen Bitochen. So the whole month stands for, the name of the month is the month of Bitochen. Now, in addition to that, the Chashmonai, they went out to Milchama, so there's a lot of Sforim to explain, and it's really simple math. The Chashmonai went to Milchama, so we always refer to the chelik, to the result, that Hashem made a nes, that there was Rabbim b'yad ma'atim, Tmeim b'yad tahorim, Yeshoim b'yad tzadikim. Now, let's think about them, that they decided to go to Milchama. There's a few fellows, a few Yidden, and why would you commit suicide? I mean, to go to Milchama, it's not a joke. They're going to kill themselves. And they had a nes, they made a nes, that's beautiful. But the fact to go out there when you don't stand a chance comes from a very strong bitochen in the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is the right thing, and if this is the right thing, there's going to be a nitzach, and that's what happened. And we know that when people do the right thing because of bitochen, that gives them the koyach. So every nes that Yidden were zoicha always becomes of a certain mitzvah that they had, that caused the nest to happen. So this forum explained that the Nitzochen HaMelchama was caused. I mean, there was Zoicha, the schus to be able to have the Nitzochen HaMelchama was the fact that they went to Melchama. To Kedusha, to win, and Baruch Hashem, they were Taka Zoicha. And that helps us remember that when a person is in a fight, to conquer the koiches atuma, in the fight to be able to be closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom, even though they don't feel that they stand a chance, because of many reasons, b'derech hateva, why they feel they're not going to succeed. But that's not a cheshbon when it comes to ruchnius. It's not a cheshbon. Adarabah, it's the opposite. When a person feels that he's going to go into this because he could succeed, that's when he's relying on himself. But when a person is doing it because it's the right thing, and he doesn't know how, but he believes that the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to help him, that is the key to be'emes be zoiche to nitzochen ha-melchama. It's the key to be able to be'emes have atzlocha and success in ruchnius. This is one of the biggest yisoidus of bitochen when it comes to ruchnius. We know it's a time, Chanukah is a time to review some simple yisoidus in the topic of bitochen when it comes to ruchnius. We know that a person is supposed to be Mekayim Torah mitzvahs. You can't just rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom. You have to get up in the morning, you have to go to shul, you have to daven, you have to do mitzvahs, you have to sit down and learn. You can't rely that it's just going to be good. So what does it mean that a person should have bitochen and ruchnius? In the beginning of Chavis Avavos, he says it, to learn how to rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom, to learn the mitzvah of bitochen and how to do it, is much more important for ruchnius than for gashmius. People are busy that they want to have bitochen because they want to get rid of their problems. So they're like, okay, just tell me how to have bitochen. I heard that if you do bitochen, it works. And they really try. They also want to do it the right way. Why? Because they so badly want to reach the goal, whatever they want to reach. It depends on the level, what their dreams are. But some people want to win the lottery. Some people want to get rid of their problems. But that's all in Gashmias. And of course, bitochen works in Gashmias. But much more important is the tachas, why a person came to this world. A person is supposed to succeed. And the melchama for ruchni is the melchama that a person should be a real successful man in ruchni's matters is much, much more important. Is the ultimate, that's what a person came to the world for. And without bitochen you can't do it. And with bitochen you could. So how do you have bitochen and ruchnius if I was meant to work hard? I wasn't meant to just sit back and rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom. So in simple words, one of the yisoides of bitochen and ruchnius is that I know that I need to do something, but I'm not sure how this is going to work. I don't know how this is going to bring me results. The Yesod of Dvarim is, you don't have to know how it's going to bring you results. Did the Rebbeinu Shalom tell you to do this? Do that. That's the mitzvah. How this mitzvah is going to finish, the Eibush is going to give you the koiches because you did the beginning. And why did you do the beginning? You did the beginning because you relied on the Rebbeinu Shalom that He's going to help you. Haboli Tayr, Messiah and Oisoi. The Svarim add a word. The previous, the Shloah Kodesh brings it, and earlier, Haboli Tayr, Yivtach. He's boiteach that Messiah and Oisoi. You start off because you're not a fool. You're doing because you told him to Yem Hashem Alekecha. The Eibush told me to do that. He's not going to let go of me. So now let's elaborate, because this is the simple Yesod we have to live on every single day. We need examples. We need to understand it a bit better. There are two types of it. In the Yesod that we just said now, it breaks down to two. It goes to two branches. There are situations in Ruchnius which a person is scared that they're going to lose out Gashmius because they're busy with the Ruchnius. They're scared they're not going to have enough money if they're going to do the right thing. And when it comes to Chinuch, it's so hard sometimes. People are really, really struggling, Bemis. And now they need to spend money for the Hatzloch of their child in Ruchnius. And they feel it's mistama the right thing, but they don't have it, and they don't know. So, and there's many situations where a person in tznius buying clothing, they don't want to buy something much that's more. It's easier to buy cheaper clothing, pun intended. Cheaper, pun intended. It goes casual. But something that's better, it costs more many times. It's choshev, huh? Yeah. First of all, time to go look and search, but that's some zach that it's more. It's choshev. It's not as mass. Yes, it's not mass production. It's bemis. So all these things, it's bemis. It's a challenge, but that's only in money. In so many different areas, a person's scared they're going to lose out. L'moshel, if a person's not going to say lashon hara. They're gonna embarrass him. If I'm not gonna say lashon hara, I'm gonna lose out. They're gonna laugh at him. They're gonna lose out in Gashmis. They're gonna have a hefsid. They're gonna have a loss because they do the mitzvah. That's one of the branches of this Yesod that we learned now. That a person always constantly reviews the klal. Ein adam shemei aliyu mafsid. You're not gonna lose out in the long run. There's no such a thing. Yeah, there's a boss. Yesh manig labira. Hashem is running the world, and now on the minute it seems to you that you're going to lose out because of it. But that is the bechira that you should remember and put it in deep into your head and mind. I'm not losing out. So it could sound like a little bit shaloi l'shema, but it's bitochen. It's pshat is if I'm following the Rebbeinu Shalom, which told me to do this, in the long run I'm not going to lose out. And every day there's so many stories where people see it, how this happens, and sometimes they see it from the other side. That means they did the wrong move, and then they saw they didn't gain anything. And if they would have chosen the right move, if they would have done the right thing, then they wouldn't have lost anything. It's every single day people could watch this happen. So this is one branch of it. Ein adam shemei li umafsid.
People feel they lose shidduchim. If they do something, they know it's the right thing, but people are going to talk.
By making the right decision by a shidduch, it's so hard because it's public information. People make comments and they don't want to make the right decision because they feel they're going to lose out. What are people going to say? It's very hard. Sometimes it's mamish the essence. It touches the pintle of a person.
There was somebody I knew who spent a lot of time helping a person who wasn't well mentally. He was an older bracha, and somebody said he shouldn't do that because people are going to think something's wrong with him, and he won't get married. I said it can't be. He's going to lose by taking care of that person.
Yeah, he was a young man was taking care of someone that was mentally not well. People were telling him, "Don't take care of that person because it's going to shut you in shidduchim, because they're going to think something is wrong with you." A perfect example. The Rambam, which says that there was never that a person became poor only min tzedakah. It can't happen. there's guidelines how much tzedakah to give. There's halachas, but by doing what you're supposed to, you're not going to lose out. That's one branch. Now let's remember that there's a different branch to it, which is that a person is remembering that he's going to be successful in the ruchnias that he's doing right now. Not that he's not going to lose out other things. He's right now. He wants to finish a masechta. He's starting off, but he doesn't know, why should I start? I'm not going to be matzliach. Why should I go do the right thing? It's not going to work anyways. We spoke a few weeks ago about a boy that he was an older boy, years and years and years in shidduchim, and they read him a girl, a young woman, he should go meet her, and he didn't want to go. Why? Because how many times did I go and nothing ever happens anyways. And why should I go now into this? It's time, it's effort, it's emotional, it's loss. He didn't want to go, but then he decided, I'm going to do it because it's the right thing. I don't care. Baruch Hashem, he's happily married. This is the pshat hazoi. You're supposed to have bitochen that I don't know how what I'm doing right now is going to bring the Yeshua, but this is the mitzvah. If I do the mitzvah, then the success, the gemar of the mitzvah, the Rebbeinu Shem is going to bring the gemar of the mitzvah. Rebbeinu Shem is going to bring the gemar. So that's the second half of bitochen ruchnius. I'm starting the masechta. Hashem is going to give me koyach. Not that I have the koyach, not that I could cheshbon how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to every day daven again, and I'm going to rely on the Rebbeinu Shem, and He's going to take me to the next step. I should be able to finish this masechta. A hard kibbud of aim. Not a simple askonas that a person throws himself into. He's doing a ma'aseh mitzvah, and how is this going to finish? Ich weiß nicht. I'm doing the ma'aseh mitzvah, and the Rebbeinu Shem is going to put success into the ma'aseh yodai, that it should be able to bring fruit. It should be able to finish off right. So that's bitochen aruchnius. Now, in the previous maybe 3-4 shiurim, we were discussing the concept that in Gashmias, when a person is working on having bitochen on parnosa, a person is working on having bitochen when it comes to health matters, refuah, and so on. That means in Yonah Yo'olam, a person is supposed to understand that his bitochen is built on TSA, right? Thinking, speaking and acting. That means it's machshava dibra ma'aseh. That's how you remember it. Machshava dibra and ma'aseh, TSA. What's the yesod? The yesod was that a person shouldn't make the mistake that if they daven for something, then they're done. It's a very big factor. It's mistama it's bringing you into the musig of bitochen, but it's not yet 100%. If you daven for parnos, it's not enough. It's also remembering constantly that the Rebbeinu Shem put me in this matziv, and only the Rebbeinu Shem can help me, and I cannot help myself, and all that. And then there's the dibur speaking. He davens to the Rebbeinu Shem, Shemona Esrei and Kapitel Tillim, and he speaks out in his language to the Rebbeinu Shem, the dibur. But then the Rebbeinu Shem said you also are supposed to take the whatever the Rebbeinu Shalom which you put into your mind and mouth, you're supposed to put the Rebbeinu Shalom into the physical evorim, and you're supposed to do pu'ulas which are connected to your tefillah and to your mind and to your thought process, the right thought process. That means you're picking up the phone to try to do something, to try to make a deal or whatever it is, and you're doing it just as the last part. You're not putting in new koiches hanefesh, and now you're doing it. This is like the physical part. You're doing it with the koiches of the Rebbeinu Shalom is putting the words into my mouth. The Rebbeinu Shalom is guiding me what I should do, and he's constantly connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And when you also are going to do, that's when you're relying on the Rebbeinu Shalom machshava dibra ma'aseh. Very simple example for that is when a person wants to plow the field. So he davened that the Rebbeinu Shem should help. He was thinking that the Rebbeinu Shem, but then the Rebbeinu Shem wants him to do it. And he's thinking that I'm doing the Ratzon from the Rebbeinu Shalom. And then he hopes and he has betochen that rain is going to come and so weiter. Now, in Ruchnius, here's a big Yesod, Chavos Avos, here in Perek Dalet discusses it befeish. When it comes to Ruchnius, same klolim, same exact klolim, it's just easier. It's just a drop easier. A very simple chilik. In Gashmius, when a person does the Pa'ula, many times, he's not sure if this Pa'ula specific thing that I'm doing, if it's the right thing to do. He tries to cheshbon lefi the Seder Oidim if it makes sense to do this. But he's not always 100% sure that this is what you're supposed to be doing. By Ruchnius, the Asiya, that part, is Baruch Hashem clear. And that's what helps a person, most times.
What if a person decides I should learn 10
just a second. First, let's say that the simple Chedesh was very poshut. When he has a Asiya, which is a mitzvah. He has a Asiya, it's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to do Gemilus Chasodim. So right now, he has a mitzvah to do Gemilus Chasodim. And whatever it is, to be mechazek a person, to help a person, whatever it is, schlep Yanam's bags. He doesn't know how he's going to finish it, but the Eibusher said you should do this. So the Eibusher said you should do this. So that's the Asiya. So it's clear cut that there's no around it. We could go even further. When it comes to Gashmias, the Rebbeinu Shalom says that if a person is in a higher madrega, he's in a higher level, he sometimes could do less Asiya, and sometimes there's a dark of Reb Shimba Yecho, he doesn't have to do it at all. It's just going to come to him. It's like I don't remember, but in English here we said this example, but it's a very important example, very important when it comes to Gashmias. The reason why a person is supposed to also do Asiya is because you're trying to bring the Shefa from the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Rebbeinu down to you. So by thinking, you were all the way down to the Machshava. By talking, you continue to bring it deeper in. Now, in order it should be able to come into your house and it should be green dollars or whatever it is, so do as Ruchnius, but you have to also do Asiya. Remembering that it's a Rebbeinu Shalom that's doing it, I'm just being the shliach to do it. That's how the dollar comes to you, and that's how you tzamtzim the shefa. You restrict, you bring it that it should be able to turn into food, it should turn into hatzlacha, because you're trying to bring a ruchnius diga concept into the gashmius diga world. So you're also supposed to do a pu'ula gashmius connected to that ruchnius. You're not thinking that you're doing it without koich v'etzim yodi. That's how you bring the Rebbeinu Shalom down into the physical world, tangible. That's why by Gashmius and a person is in a higher darga. So he is on the second floor. So he doesn't have to bring the abundance down to the first floor because he's on the second floor. So if you elevate yourself, so you could do less because it's enough. That's the yesod why a person could work on themselves and they could do a smaller asiyah. But by Ruchnius, here's the interessante. By Ruchnius, we're mechuyev in Torah mitzvahs. So you have to do the Ma'aseh Mitzvah. You have to do the Ma'aseh Mitzvah. Now, there's a concept in Ruchnius also like that. L'moshel, the Ovos HaKadoshim, before the Torah was given, they were Mekayim, Kol HaTorah Kula, without the Asiyah. The Machshava, they understood what it means, and they were able to be Mekayim like that. But once the Matan Torah was given, a person can't say, I'm not going to be Mekayim Mitzvah, I'm going to do it Machshava. Besides, if he's an Oinus. If he can't, then here we have the Ma'amah Chazal that a person cannot do a mitzvah. Mal olav hakos of kilu aso. Hashem is going to take care of the last part. Chishavodam last mitzvah. You thought and you want, but you can't do the last part. So Hashem says, I'm going to finish it off. Why? Because here's the nakuda. Because anyways, Hashem finishes off every mitzvah for you anyways. Hashem is telling you that you should follow orders, and if you do what you're supposed to, I'm going to be goymet. So if a person could do the chelik asiyah, then a person, that's how you're following the Rebbeinu Shalom. And then Hashem is going to do the results. But let's say there's a gate right before the asiyah. So you came till the gate. You came as much as you could do. So it's not every mitzvah anyways, the Eibusher finishes off. That's the yesod where you're a oinus. But if a person is not an oinus,
you connect it also to
Yeah, Avada. It's not only oinus; it's also all types where Yisrael could learn Parshas Kavonis. It's like he was Makav Korban, but you have to put machshava and we have to do the max. You can't just sit back. But akaponim, but b'derech back to the nakuda by ma'aseh mitzvahs. The Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to bring ruchnius, to bring the Rebbeinu Shalom into the olam ha'asiyah. He wants us. That's the tafkid of a yid in this world. That's the tafkid. So so what's the yesod? How does a person connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom while they're doing mitzvahs? Which mahalach could a person use to connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom while they're doing mitzvahs? If they do mitzvahs, the same concept, like they wanna bring parnasa. Once we understand that Gashmis, we could have a different understanding what it means to be Mekayim a mitzvah. That means, let's say a person wants to bring parnasa to his family. Now he's learning Chovis Alvavis and Bitoch, and he says, okay, so explain to me. So there's abundance from above, so I have to bring it into my mind that Hashem is going to give me parnasa. Okay, next. Okay, they tell him, okay, now say, daven for parnasa, okay. So he says, okay, so it's here already? He says, yeah, but I don't see the money. Oh, so now you also have to do a pu'ula, and then you're bringing the Rebbeinu Shalom into your house, the bracha. Okay, if you understand that concept in Gashmis, perfect, gewaldig. Now, this is the idea that the Rebbeinu Shalom wants that a person should do when they be Mekayim a mitzvah. They should understand that it's not dry. It's the machshava behind it. What you're trying to do, you're trying to bring a lakus. You're trying to bring Rebbeinu Shalom into this world, and there's all three parts by a mitzvah. There's the machshava chelik, there's the dibur chelik. The person makes a bracha. And even mitzvahs that don't have a bracha, there's an inyan that a person should verbalize. He should talk about it. The Bnei Yisrael speaks about it in a sefer. And then there's the chelik ha'asiyah, that the person is actually doing the mitzvah. But the more the person is going to be connected, that the machshava, the dibur, and the ma'aseh that he's doing by the mitzvah is only a tool to be able to bring the Rebbeinu Shalom into him, to connect the Rebbeinu Shalom to him, to bring the Rebbeinu Shalom to this world, then that's one of the biggest yisoides of the Chassidish Svarim, that a person should be Mekayim mitzvahs on such a mahalach. He shouldn't just do it like a robot. You have to light candles, I'll light candles. You have to sing Moisur, I'll sing Moisur. Next. What else? He understands, no, there's a binyan. I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to bring a lakus, trying to bring Rebbeinu Shalom into my world, into this world. So I'm thinking about it. Why did Rebbeinu Shalom tell me to do that? And that I'm following and I'm doing it, and understanding that by doing the ma'aseh mitzvah, something is happening. Something I brought, I bring the Rebbeinu Shalom down to this world, and then something changes in the person. It gives a koyach for the person to overcome challenges. It gives a koyach amunah to the person. It gives a koyach for the person and bad yetzahoras. Anything that you understand that this system is going to be able to do something. Now he has bitochen. The Rebbeinu Shalom. The Rebbeinu Shalom is going to make whatever has to happen should happen. The more he puts an effort to think about it and to believe in it, and to understand that I'm doing a physical act, but that is really only the beginning of something. So you understand that every mitzvah I'm having betochen that it should do something with the world, with me.
It's not that you're making HaKadosh Baruch Hu come in by your mitzvah. You're doing the mitzvah. Yeah, betochen that he'll come into the world through your mitzvah.
It means that a person doesn't really have the koyach to be able to do it on their own, because it's a hecher ezach what's supposed to happen. It's beyond the person's koyches. The change that's supposed to happen to the person, the change that's supposed to happen to the world is l'mala miderech hateva. So by me lighting a candle, or any mitzvah that I'm doing, it doesn't be'etzim, it's not in the act that I'm doing. It's just that because that I'm doing it because I'm beteich in the Rebbeinu Shalom, I'm using that as a tool, following what the Rebbeinu Shalom told me to do. So I'm trusting in the Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm following orders. That's a koyach that could bring, that it should be able to bring the koyach of that's higher in this world, the L'malam Derech should come to this world.
Doing alone, there could be different ways of how you do tzaddikim do a mitzvah much more.
With much more what?
Kavanah.
Oh, that's the nakuda.
More kavanah, more tinyanim.
But what the tzaddikim do a mitzvah with much more moyach and leiv, and it goes dargas and dargas, many levels. But the nakuda is that they're connecting to the Rebbeinu Shalom much more, and the chelik see the act that they're doing is be'etzim the same thing. They also took a candle and lit, but you could watch that was only like the little part that's the asiyah part. You see big tzaddikim, they got so overwhelmed, and so why? Because they connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom so strong understanding that all this the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to bring out to this world, but you mekayim it by doing this asiyah. So a person could use Gashmi as the Gibitochen to understand better Ruchni is the Gibitochen, and Ruchni is the Gibitochen to understand better the Gashmi is the Gibitochen. It's very important to be able to draw the line, because it adds dimension, it adds deeper Havana. That means a person that in Gashmi is the he doesn't understand what does it mean. It's hard for him to understand what does it mean that I should do a pa'ula. I should go to work, I should handle customers, I should try to do deals, but I should do it, and it should only be like dead. He doesn't. Sometimes people don't understand. I'm supposed to like do it in my sleep. Like what does it mean? It means to say that you understand that that's like 1% of a billion. That means the same way you see a big tzaddik, that when they light the Chanukah, they're so, or when they rotzir and the koching zach and whatever, and then the lighting of the lecht, you can't do it different. He lights the lecht. It takes a second. But if he's not going to light the lecht, then he wasn't mekayim the mitzvah. As exciting as he is, he went to the mikveh beforehand and he learned 10 hours Gemara and Tosis and Zohar Kodesh beforehand. He wasn't mekayim. But if he did light the lecht, then all that had a pesakoich to get into this world by lighting the lecht l'matam ma'asar. That's how it works. That's the yesod. And in all mitzvahs it's like that. All mitzvahs work that way. So that's how a person can understand that when a person in Gashmi is, it's not much different. In Gashmi is a person, let's say they're going to be investing that whatever they're going to do right now doesn't have the koyach to really be mishana, and the Rebbeinu Shalom runs the world, and they're going to learn a seifa, and they're going to say Tehillim, Shirs, V'zish Bachas, the Rebbeinu Shalom, and they're going to remind themselves they're nothing. After finishing the whole Tehillim, whatever, that's when they're going to pick up a phone and write kach v'kach, and they're going to go weit.
Now, can you compare, just like when you do the Maisa Mitzvah, you're supposed to do it with emotion and simcha. When a person does is he starts a business. He
starts in the business, should do with the same emotion and simcha because it's a mitzvah. Sure. But which emotion? Always people do physical act with emotion. Problem is they switch over. The last second they switch over. That's the nisoyan, and that makes chibur, apisot. If you do a asiyah, you connect it to the emotion and simcha from the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's connecting this world and that world. There's no way it doesn't bring shefa. That's connecting this world to that world which is full of abundance. But it can't work if you also did that, and then you plugged out the plug, you plugged it in somewhere else, and you did asiyah. That's what most people do. We get emotionally involved to a different mahalach when we do the chelik asiyah. That's why tzaddikim said, if a person learns before davening, he did he said Tillim, and he learned Geschmack, and he went to the mikveh. I don't know what else he did. But then, he finished with his charus. It's 10 minutes till they start davening. Or there isn't 10 minutes, he starts davening 10 minutes later. And then, he went to the Kavish table there, and he had a nice little schmooze. With the oilam, with politics. Today there's virtual Kavish tables. He was busy. And then, he came to the davening. So he plugged it out. That's it. He turned on the fire, he poured water, and then he went. So you learned, beautiful check, but then it didn't connect, it didn't bring that fire into the davening. That fight is a massive milchama. It's a very, very big milchama. But that milchama, we have to understand, that's the connection, that's connecting this world to that world, which brings the abundance to this world. In Tefillah, and in Torah, and wherever it is. That's why when a person learns and doesn't speak in the middle of the Bertzifus or whatever, you start, something starts cooking, something starts happening. The Chazon Ish says when a person learns and then schmoozes and then learns and then schmoozes, it's exactly like trying to cook a big piece of meat. You turn on the fire, 5 minutes later you closed it. You waited an hour, turn on the fire 5 minutes and you close it. Ain't gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen for 2 days. If that's now the connecting the machshava and the dibur to the asiya is weird as a big Yetzirah, and that's where a person, if they're matzliach, when they're matzliach, they could it changes. It makes massive changes to this world. People that I'm going to give another example. People that they lent money to someone, and then they're very, very frustrated because the person not paying back, and they tried, and they were ma'ayem. They told that person, if you can do this, you can do that. I need the money right now. Nothing worked, and they're so frustrated. And then they learned Chavis Halvovis, and they had a Siyata Deshmai and whatever, and they learn and that whatever, and then they walk over to the person, whatever, with a smile, ruig, because that's the mitzvah. And they say, listen, I happen to be making chasana, and a week or two from now, I happen to need the money. I don't know if you have it, if you have the ability. If you could, I need the money here. And they walk weiter. How many stories? The guy says, listen, all the guys are terrorizing me, I don't pick up the phone to them. This guy spoke to me nicely. It's not stam chachmas chaim, Dick. We're talking about true stories, that's every day. It's not only chachmas chaim, Dick. It's because that could work. Because the asiyah that this person did was connected to his tehillim. He did it differently, emotionally connected to that tehillim. So that's why that connected it. So that brings the shefa into the Olam Asiyah. Now, if he's not going to ask him for the money b'chlal, he didn't do the Asiyah. So it could be he's not going to get the money. So you had to do something, but you had to do it all the way Yiddish. All the way. This week's parasha, I think it's this week's parasha, and Parasha Mikos is mamash, unbelievable Archaim HaKadosh, Aval Hashem Amanachnu, that we didn't listen to the cry of Yosef HaTzadik. The brothers made a cheshbon HaNefesh. It's a fascinating Archaim HaKadosh. The brothers made a cheshbon HaNefesh. The cheshbon HaNefesh was they wished to give such nisyonos in Mitzrayim, and Shimon is in prison, and this. So they said, Aval Hashem Anachnu, we are guilty. We that we didn't listen to the cry of Yosef HaTzadik when he begged that we should not sell him to the Yishmaelim or whatever. So Archaim HaKadosh says they had made a perfect cheshbon, that because they felt that Api Torah, he has a din of eroidif, whatever it is, and they made a decision to do what they did. So what's this cheshbon HaNefesh that right now they're saying, nah, maybe we did something wrong? They didn't hold like that. They had a cheshbon exactly why they sold him. And also he's medayik that the pasuk doesn't talk about that they had charota, that they sold him. The pasuk is focused that when he was begging for Rachmanas, they didn't listen. So the Chaim HaKadosh says, an unbelievable yesod. The Chaim HaKadosh says, if you decide to do something, that's one. But then how you do it is something, that's two. So they felt that in the etzam achlota that they made to sell, they were right. But then the feelings to just delete and totally ignore the rachmanas, the bakasha that person is asking, that was wrong. That was wrong. That's what Chaim HaKadosh says. Now this is a topic when a person sometimes has to fire a worker or whatever it is, something that's it's very uncomfortable situations. It's emotionally, it's a turmoil, not shaykh. Sometimes a person could be 100% right for firing the person. That's it. It's black and white. There's no breda. But then when that person comes and that person says, "What am I? I have a family with children," and you have to take that into consideration, which could mean one of many different ways. It could mean that, you know what, maybe we'll wait 2 months. You know what, maybe I'll try before. I'm going to try to find him a job before I fire him. It's not my job to find him a different job, but he has a family with children. But he also can't be here. And many different protim. And people come to this junction. People come to this summit. I mean, they have this challenge in many areas in life. A person just I was exposed, whatever. I was talking to someone about. He has a dira, which someone is there, and the guy's paying rent, X amount of money. Now he has the opportunity. He could split it into two. He can make 2 small little diras every day, and he can make double. And he wants to send out, and that person is saying, "I've moved so many times. I'll add 1,000 shekel. I'm going to go up in price, but maybe you could do something." I don't know where to go. So it doesn't. Maybe you'll let us split the dira. I didn't say you can't, but you don't have the mahalach of saying, "Listen, if I'm right, it means that I could just not pick up my phone." No, you can't do that. If you're right, that's one part of the picture. Rebbe is right, but now you have to. You're mechuyev to also rechenzach with the other part of the story, because the Eibush to put you into this matzav. It's part of the equation. The equation is everything together. B'kesher to our sugi that we're learning in Bitochen. When a person is up to the shlav of doing the asiyah, that's where a lot of emotions come. But I need the money more important than him. He has a father, he has this, he has that. He's not the Rachmanis. I'm the Rachmanis. But write it down. By the pros and cons. You could write it down. But then that's where a person could see, right now you're acting mitoich kaas, mitoich choises savlonas, mitoich nekama, mitoich because you're right. That's the gemois of a asiyah that's disconnected. It's disconnected from doing the right asiyah. A right asiyah is done smooth. It could take me 2 years. It could cost me another who knows how much money. But when I do it, I'm shalem. I know now I did it. I don't have to black out certain parts of my mind and not care and not look and just find myself afterwards. That's asiyah that was disconnected. Now the Eibishter gave us a Torah or mitzvahs, gashmias and ruchnias, to connect this world with that world, with the world of emes, with the world of Sefer Tehillim from David HaMelech. And the biggest challenge is to be able to connect these two elamis, to be able to connect them. When a person is doing a mitzvah, which the asiyah is a good asiyah, but it doesn't have that neshama, and say by Gashmi where you're not connecting these two zachen. When a person is, then there is no way that it doesn't bring change to the world. It actually changes the mitzvahs of the world because you connected. I see you did something that changed. Now, the Chashmonaim is a dogma. It's a pasha dogma. It's a classical dogma. Had bitochen, they did what's right, whatever. So they went out to Milchama. That means that many times the act is a siman that you're doing it mitoch bitochen, because there's no other mahalach you would have done it. Why did he do it? He did it because he had bitochen. But not always. This is the picture. Sometimes a person is doing it not because they have bitochen. So always a person is supposed to try to beg the Rebbeinu Shalom to do the balance right, to be able to connect and have a shleimusdige ma'aseh mitzvah, and that's what really brings a person be'emes closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom and brings the tikkun olam.